Good morning, Lieutenant Galloway with the Eufaula Fire and Rescue with the weekly reports. This February the 6th. As of this date, we've had a total of 17 EMS calls, 3 public service assistance calls, 1 public service call, and 1 good intent call for a total of 22 calls. It's been fairly quiet for us. We haven't had anything major. We have received emails in reference to some possible weather coming our way later this afternoon from our EMA office, which was sent down from State EMA. Hopefully it'll all stay north of us in the 85 corridor, but just would like to caution people after the previous weather conditions we had a week or so ago in the past. We would like to let everybody know that, hey, if it does rain, if it does come some kind of heavy snow event, it's probably not going to stick. It'll probably be melting off as soon as it hits the ground, but shortly after that, it's expected to have some low temperatures and freezing. So just use some awareness in the low-lying areas or areas that you know may be rutted or that you travel a lot where you know they're rutted or potholed, or low-lying areas that may accumulate water or moisture. Just use some caution with that in case it does freeze, and just try and be careful with it. So at this point in time, we don't see any major problems such as the last event, but we just like to caution everybody about that. And once again, of course, every time we have a really cold snap, it never fails. We're always having people that have situations with heaters and stoves catching and having problems with starting fires in the household. So please pay close attention to those types of equipment. If you're cooking, don't walk away from it. If you have to leave the stove, turn the stove off. Set the material to the side and let it cool. Same thing with the heaters. If you're going to have one, make sure they're well ventilated, in good condition, and clear of all flammable debris or items. So let's say, just please use some caution with that, and we appreciate it, and we hope everyone has a good weekend that's coming up. So.
One of the things I want to ask you is about something you may not have the information on all the way. I know that they're proposing to open up a second way into Forest Hills on the old dirt road that's going to have to be regraded and everything. Has the department been contacted about could they get a fire engine down that road after they get through with this?
I'm not aware of us being contacted yet. Usually our inspections division handles that. And that's one thing that we do look at, and a lot of times when we're made aware of those different things, our building inspectors, our city maintenance, city street department, they all are real good about contacting us, asking us, hey, is this a situation here? Of course, we go out and then we observe it and check it out and see. But they are several different places in town, in residences, that where our engines cannot go. We do have a awareness program where we try and make landowners understand that, hey, we may not be able to get a fire engine to your house. Mm-hmm. So you might want to make provisions to get us a easement or a right-of-way to where we can get to your structure in case you do have fire. And of course, I mean, we can lay a lot of hoses to an area, but it's much better when we can get the fire truck a little bit closer. So we do have that, and some landowners here in town, very few, you can probably count them all on one hand, who have actually signed agreements saying that, yes, we understand that you cannot get a fire engine to us due to our easement, but we're okay with that. So that has been done before. We don't really encourage that whatsoever. We like to try and provide service to our citizens, and we hope they understand what it takes to get some of these trucks in some of these areas. So at this point in time, I'm not really aware of that, but I'll try and find out and make sure that, see if we've been contacted about that so far.
And the other question I would have is, it's going to, if it stays the width that it is now, it's a one-way road.
We don't like one-way roads. That's pretty simple. Our trucks are pretty good size. Mm-hmm. You know, they look like a normal UPS truck as far as length, and everybody sees UPS trucks going a lot of places. but the UPS truck doesn't carry the weight that we carry.
That's right.
With our trucks. Our trucks weigh anywhere from 40-something thousand pounds on up into the 60s. You know, almost the ladder truck it'll put a dent in the grass pretty easy. So a lot of these roadways we like to try and look at, a lot of driveways, a lot of the larger homes in town. You'll see that they set probably 100 to 200 feet off the roadway, and they have a concrete driveway or paved driveway that goes over a ditch with a culvert in it. And you'll probably see and wonder, why don't we park up in the yard when they have a structure fire or a fire or an incident at that location? Mm-hmm. We, in the past, as our trucks have gotten heavier and heavier, have pulled into those driveways and crushed and destroyed those driveways. So it is one of our SOGs now that we try not to leave the hardball pavement city street unless we absolutely have to. So because of that, we've increased our hose lengths that we carry to try and reach those homes and once again provide service to them. The ambulances are a little different. We can kind of go a little bit more places with those, but the fire trucks, we're kind of limited on some of the places we can go. And during the summertime in the south, it's pretty bad too. We try and limit our turning around, our sharp turns. We can move some pavement pretty easily. And we've had some of our trucks sitting in a parking lot that's been newly paved to actually begin to sink into some of that pavement. So like I say, we'll check in on that. We'll try and find out and make sure and see what information we have. So
one of the other things that with the city council approving funds at Monday night's meeting for this road project, it's only about $16,000. I just really have a lot of concerns that your equipment's going to be able to make it, and how long it's going to take for it to be additional if you went the normal way to Forest Hills, and how much longer it's going to be to go that back way.
Well, like I say, our ambulances, pretty much 90% of our calls, I would say probably 90%, maybe a little more, are emergency medical calls. So our ambulances, it probably won't be that big of a problem for them. Our fire trucks are the main thing. And like I say, we do have plans and we do have certain tactics and strategies to overcome some of those problems when we arise with them. But we always try and work with any entity, be it public or government, to try and solve some of those problems at the beginning of it and try and make those access good. I know, like when some subdivisions are built or factories are built, there are certain ordinances and certain regulations that require them to have the fire department access points so that we can get to certain areas of the structure in case there is an incident. So we try and work with them to explain to them that's why we need this and so forth. But like I say, I'll check in on that and we'll find out and see what information.
Try to get me a comparison on those two times when you can. You're busy, I know that.
We'll try and do that, because that's one thing we do look at on a regular basis. Is our yearly, what our runs. At this point in time last year, our average response time was 5 minutes. Now that 5 minutes average also counts in responses out into the county where we've received mutual aid and so forth. So you're talking about, a pretty lengthy drive out into the county. So really, if you had to take those out and do the average of here in town, you're anywhere between 3.5 to 4 minutes from the time of alarm to the time we're on scene. So and we're trying to hold that as best we can here in town. So that's what we really hope for. But yeah, I'll check in on that and find out. So.
This is Detective Lance Abbott, and these are the reports for the Eufaula Police Department for February the 3rd of 2014 through February the 5th of 2014. There were a total of 12 traffic arrests. There were 4 misdemeanor arrests, and there were 2 felony arrests. First, the uniform incident offense reports that were completed for the time period from the 3rd of February through the 5th of February. The first one is a report for theft of property 3rd degree, and that was regarding an incident that took place on South Eufaula Avenue. The next one is a report for criminal mischief 3rd degree, which took place on Cotton Hill Road. Next is a report for unlawful imprisonment, second degree, which took place in the sub 100 block of Old Sardis Church Road.
Let's talk about that for a second. Was that a very serious incident, or was it something that required number of officers or anything? Or it's just a report that was given?
No, sir, it was just a report that was
Okay.
provided.
All right, thank you.
The next one was receiving stolen property third degree, and this report was completed regarding an incident that took place on South Eufaula Avenue. The next is a report for criminal mischief second degree, and it took place on Meadow Drive in Eufaula. The next report is for harassing communications in the 100 block of Old Dell Road. The next report is for assault third degree and unlawful imprisonment second degree on TV McCoo and TV McCoo Apartments. The next report is for unlawful breaking and entering vehicle and theft of property second degree, which occurred on South Eufaula Avenue. The next report is for theft of property third degree, and this happened on Randolph Avenue in Eufaula. The next report is for unauthorized use of a vehicle in the Bluff Park Apartments area. And this actually occurred back on the 3rd of February. There was a report of possession of marijuana second degree in Eufaula Avenue and Highway 30. As for the arrest reports, first one is for Jeffrey Lamar Rump, and he was arrested for attempting to elude a police officer. The next is Theodore Page III, and he was arrested for possession of marijuana second degree. The next report is for Brock Alexander Faircloth, and he was arrested for possession of marijuana second degree. The next report is for Amy Denise King, and she was arrested on a warrant for probation violation. The next report is arrest report for Rhonda Elaine Wilson Kiles. She was arrested for theft of property third degree in Eufaula. The next report is for Yamanda Liddell Fryer. She was arrested for domestic violence second degree. The next report is for Lori Nicole Williams. She was arrested on a failure to appear warrant here in Eufaula. The next is for Gerther Ann McClendon, and she was arrested for operating a vehicle without insurance and driving while license are suspended.
Got a couple of questions, just follow up. Is there anything known about the suspect that picture was released that you all are looking for? Have you found him yet, or anything like that?
At this time, we have had a joint investigation or search with the U.S. Marshals,
Okay.
the Board of Pardons and Paroles from Georgia, and we have not located him at this time, but he is. We're steadily working on that.
Okay. Is there any more activity on the Circle K event from a few weeks ago? Is there any more suspected people in this case that haven't been accounted for?
I am, at this point, I believe there have been 2 or 3 arrests involving that case, and of course that investigation is ongoing as well.
in concerning the grand jury that's going to be meeting on the 28th of February, is there anything specifically the department is planning in regards to its release of its investigation? As far as do you expect any unusual activity in Eufaula?
I believe it's on the 24th of February.
Oh, okay, I had the date wrong.
Well, I think that's the Monday.
Yes, you're right.
But, not at this time. I mean, if whether it's presented to the grand jury then or not, I guess that would be at the determination of the district attorney's office.
Yeah.